Hey guys, welcome back to Maelstrom Gaming Studios. I'm Craig, and today we have got new prices and the reveal dates or release dates for the Tyranids all coming up very soon. So I actually just released my Tyranid tier ranking video. I thought we had 3 weeks until the codex. We actually have 2. So we're going to dive into everything GW has told us so far, as well as what seems to be the prices leaked on the internet for all of these good kits, so you can plan exactly how much your wallet is going to burn when you have to buy all of these things. So if that sounds good, do like and subscribe to stay up to date on all of our content here at Maelstrom Gaming Studios. Thank you, members, for keeping things going. And I'm super happy with the codex coming out now. We can really dive into stuff. I was kind of hesitating between that point between index and codex about not wanting to get too in-depth on stuff because, well, things are probably going to change with the codex, and that might be the case. So now that the codex is out, we can really dive in depth and do what we used to do a lot on the channel here. So again, thank you for everyone. And now let's get into this video. So we'll just get right into it for some important dates. This Saturday, September 2nd, is the pre-order day. And then, 1 week after that, Saturday, September 9th, is the release date. So I was thinking we were going to have a little bit more. They wouldn't announce the pre-orders until after Nova, which is tomorrow, or Wednesday. But, it looks like they're doing Tyranids first, then they're doing Marines 2 separate weeks. Makes me wonder, is if Marines technically won the Battle of Agram, would they have got their stuff first, and we would have had to wait till Wednesday to see all this new Tyranid stuff? That might have been the case. It might have been the plan all along. Not really sure there, but we don't have to worry because Tyranids are coming out. So prices. Prices for this stuff. Codex, $60 is still very expensive. Hopefully we still get a good amount of data, stuff, pictures, hopefully it's worth it, basically. The data cards, $35, a little expensive, but that's what they are, and I think they are going to be useful, especially now with the way they've created them. It's going to be nice, just bring your like 8 data cards or whatever to a list, and that way if your opponent's like, oh, I don't trust that rule, you'd be like, here's my card. I'd never bought the Tyranid ones before because why bother? They're going to be updated. And the dice, I'll try and put a picture of the dice here if they have them. They actually do look really nice. $32 for some dice when you're going to want 2 sets of these probably. So what, basically $65 for a set of dice is expensive. So I don't recommend it unless you really like them and you're a collector like that, then go for it. But the dice are there. Now into the other prices, I was very surprised by a lot of these prices. Almost none of them were what I anticipated they would be. So first off, the Termagants. Coming in at $45, that's not a lot of money. I know Termagants are Termagants, but still, all those extra sprue bits, I was expecting these things to be $50, $55. So great to see the Termagants are cheap. Hormagants, odd that they're $50. From all my knowledge you get less in the Hormagants than you do the Termagants. So I don't know why it's $50, but that is. Gene Stealers at 55 seems about right. Would have been nice maybe to also see those at 50, but you know, seems about right. The new Lictor is coming in at $50 for a single model, which is absurd. I know it's got a ton of upgrade pieces, or not upgrades, but customization pieces in there, which is why it's so expensive, but $50, really, this thing should have been 40 max in my opinion. So I'm a little upset. Probably not going to be buying a new Lictor in my first wave of purchases, just because I have 3 normal Lictors. It's not high in the priority yet, but eventually we would want to upgrade all of them, I think. Neurolictor coming in at 40. Again, this is probably $10 more than I would have liked because there's no customization on this single Neurolictor. I thought it should fall in line with some of the Gene Stealer cult characters and just be a simple $30 kit. But still, 40 is 40. And the Death Leaper, 60. I actually thought the Death Leaper was going to be $60. That came in right as I expected. He is supposed to be a big model, new, you know, Warlord-esque refresh style looking thing. So I'm okay with the Death Leaper, as well as the Biovore and Pyrovore coming in at $50. This makes me think they are going to be still relatively small, like the current ones, because I believe the current ones are $45. So I'm really happy with the Pyrovore and Biovore kit. Yes, it's expensive because we're going to want a lot of these, but for GW's sake, or GW's pricing, it's okay. And then finally, the biggest surprise to me is the Norn Emissary and Assimilator. I know they announced, there was some, they didn't announce it, but there were some rumors saying that the Norn kit was only like 2 sprues in the whole box. So there's just a lot of big pieces that go together in there. So it's like, well, if you're really paying, I was thinking this thing would be like a $150 kit or $160 kit. Only $115, you know, $30 more than a Maliceptor or something makes, I'm comfortable. I'm happily buying one of those. If I can snag a second one, I will try and do that. But for now, we're going to be buying one, building the Emissary, and then once I've made progress on the first wave of stuff, then we have the Assimilator. I guess I can say my first wave, I just send it out to my local game store. I gave them the list of what I would like. We got all the top 3 Codex data cards. Oh no, we didn't get dice. Codex and data cards. I did not buy any of the Gaunts, Gene Stealers, Homer Gaunts, all those. I didn't buy any of those yet. I didn't get a Lictor. I got a Neurolictor, a Death Leaper, 2 Bio Pyrovores, and then an Assimilator. So that's still a lot of money, but I think it's going to be good. We're going to try and proxy, or we're going to try and magnetize the Biovore Pyrovore so we can have 2 of one or the other. We'll see how it goes. Maybe I need to pick up a 3rd one eventually. So there we go. All the prices and details. Now let's get into the juicy rules. So we have 5 new detachments. We do have our one that we've been using to make it a total of 6, and they said that one is staying unchanged. So, you know, it's not the worst, not the best, but that is what it is. The 5 new detachments: Crusher Stampede, not the same as it used to be, but still Crusher Stampede, Vanguard Onslaught, Unending Swarm, the Assimilation Swarm, and the Synaptic Nexus. Each of these attachments are getting 6 new stratagems, so we will have a total of 36 stratagems. Luckily, when you are playing your list, you only have to focus on 6 of them. And we have 4 new enhancements for each detachment, which again, that's a lot of enhancements, but you only have to focus on 4 of them when you're building your list. So at first I thought maybe it's a lot, but if you can keep it to a card of 6, that'll be great. Hopefully, GW makes something where you can, maybe the data cards have a little thing for stratagems. That would be really nice. If not, I'm going to try and create something like that. So just 6 stratagems, bam, on a little fold-out card to go with your data cards. So those are new detachments, but we do have some details on some of them. So first off, we have details on Crusher Stampede. So it's got 1 detachment rule that they've shown us. There might be another one, but probably not. And that is Enraged Behemoths. So all of your monsters are +1 to hit if they are below starting strength, and they are +1 to wound if they are below half strength. Now, I don't like how we have to take damage in order to be better. I get it. I know GW is trying to find balance, a fine line between the old Crusher Stampede that absolutely swamped everybody, but they don't want to make something too powerful. So I think this will be okay, because a lot of times, yeah, your monster is going to take damage. Hopefully they're not just going to be blown up outright. It's not going to be insane, but it does help a lot of our big monsters. We'll be hitting on 2s and wounding on 2s against a lot of things now. Or even some of our small monsters will be wounding tougher things on 4s now. So I think it's going to be good. The only unit that I worry about with this is the old One-Eye and the old Starin Carnifexes are not going to take advantage of this at all. It's just, unless they change something in the index or in the codex, they're just not going to benefit from this rule, because you have to think, if you bring old One-Eye and 2 Carnifexes, a unit of 3. So first off, below starting strength means one of your Carnifexes has to be killed. Not wounded, has to be killed. So then you got 2 Carnifexes left. And then if you want to be below half strength, that other Carnifex has to be killed. But because Old One Eye is a character, once that happens, he becomes his own unit, and now Old One Eye, again, has to be wounded and below half strength Old One Eye himself before he actually gets the +1 to wound roll. It's unfortunate. Maybe they work a tweak around with that unit, but other than that, I think it's going to be beneficial. It won't... Well, I guess it can help our shooting stuff out a bit. We'll see how it plays out overall. Overall, it's not my favorite one of the two that we've seen, but I think it's got potential. And then the enhancement for it, hopefully it's only like 10 points or something, but +3 to your OC for a character. I think it would be good on like a Tervagon if you can pull that off, because she's already OC 5, so she could be an OC 8 monster. You could put on your Hive Tyrants to boost them up a little bit, maybe your Neuro Tyrant if you want to boost it up. But again, depending on what the rest of them are, hopefully it's a cheap one. You can just make one of your characters better at holding objectives. So that's that. And then we have the Vanguard Onslaught. This one we got a bit more information for. This is the one I'm looking forward to the most so far. So the Detachment Rules Questing Tendrils. Essentially, a number of your Codex units are going to be given the Vanguard Invader keyword. We'll talk about that in just a second here, but everyone with that keyword gets Advance in Charge, which is awesome. I love Advance in Charge, and that'll stack on top of other things. So Gene Stealers get Scout Move, Advance in Charge. Von Ryan Leapers, I'm assuming, will get Infiltrate, Advance in Charge. So they're going to be zooming up the board to really hit you where you need to, or hit your opponent where they need to. The other key thing with this is Death Leaper can now be your Warlord. He specifically has a rule where he can't. Now he can with this, so that'll be fun to have Death Leaper. That's why they gave him the cape, really. So he's the Warlord with that. So in terms of this Vanguard Invader keyword, they mentioned Broodlords and Gene Stealers for sure have it. They said most flying creatures, and then they specifically talked about the Winged Prime. So we do know the Winged Prime will get this keyword, meaning the units he joins gets the keyword. So this takes melee warriors specifically. You can put it on gargoyles and you can put it on shooting warriors if you want, but really melee warriors now have access to Advance in Charge. And because the Prime gives off the sustained hits, melee warriors are looking much tastier here with Advance in Charge, sustained hits 1 all the time, and they have a buttload of attacks. So we're going to be getting ready to run. I've already built up my Tyranid Prime. I know I just released my tier video saying in the index, Tyranid Prime sucks booty, but now with this keyword alone and these special rules, I think the Tyranid Prime is moving up many tiers depending on how we see these Tyranid warriors play out in melee. I think it's going to be good, and I'll definitely want to cover them and use them when we get the chance. So excited to see that there. Maybe we got to build both of them and we have, 12 of them, 12 warriors running around the board. Anyway, excited for that one. And then another one, maybe the Flyrant gets it. They said most flying creatures, so maybe the Flyrant. I'm going to guess the Harpy and Hive Crone don't. Maybe they do. I'm going to guess Zoanthropes and Venomthropes don't. But maybe the Flyrant gets one. So then you have your Flyrant with Advance in Charge in there too, which could be tasty. Could be tasty there. The one enhancement, Chameleonic, is it gives the bearer stealth, and then it gives them +1 to cover, or gives the unit benefit of cover. So they mentioned the Tyranid Prime specifically, so that unit of warriors will always have the benefit of cover, and then if it gets down to just the Prime, she also has stealth. So again, if it's cheap, great. And then the Assassin Beast stratagem here, 1 CP, one of your units in melee gets precision. Just gets precision. So that is that's good. That's very good. If we need to kill a few characters, that allow us to dump a ton of attacks onto a specific unit there. All right, and then so back to the other 3 detachments. I just want to go over a few little thoughts on what I think they could be. So Unending Swarm, maybe they harken back to, I believe it is 7th edition, where your Termagants, your Hormagaunts, and your Gargoyles actually got to respawn after they died. Maybe they bring that little aspect into it. That would be good. They specifically mention Endless Multitude units, so it could be cool. Maybe the Turvagon gets a nice buff and sees some great play in this detachment. That would be awesome as well. The Assimilation Swarm is something I don't really know what they're going for this one. Maybe it's something in melee based. They show some melee units there. They mentioned the Horus effects, and we have the Assimilator, so maybe it has bonuses in this detachment. Maybe, I don't know. I really don't know with this one. And then the Synaptic Nexus, showing a bunch of Zoanthropes and a Neurotyrant. I'm assuming it's going to be some sort of army-wide or synapse-wide feel no pain / invuln save, kind of like old Crusher Stampede or old Leviathan rules. Maybe they're going to have enhanced synapse range. Maybe the whole army for synapse gets 9-inch synapse range or something. And maybe they have some sort of adaptation deal where, because it's all synapse creatures, they work well and they learn from each other, and maybe they get bonuses on different turns, or I don't know. Something like that. Or maybe that actually belongs in the Assimilation Swarm. As they kill stuff, they get better. Who knows? But those are my thoughts on there. Just one other quick note I wanted to mention that I noticed reading through this is that they did say towards the top of the article that with the Codex, expanding your army options with the new detachments and introducing new and updated data sheets. So it'll be interesting to see what units are considered updated that only had the life of them for a short amount of time. I'm really hoping that, I think out of all of them, it's the Psychophage gets a nice healthy update on its attack profile, because I could see in Crusher Stampede bringing 3 little Psychophages, if they get a point drop, they're going to be a nice little include in the army overall. So that's it. That's what I got. Just going to mention the final thing. I've mentioned this in a couple of videos here and there. We do have that giveaway going for, if we hit 10K subscribers, I will give away the Northern Emissary. And now that it is coming out, we're on our way to 10K. We've grown a lot since I announced that, so thank you guys. I think we're, approaching 6,500. And then that's everything we got. We just have one video, maybe 2 left before we get into full Codex stuff. One of them is Battle Report. You can see behind me. We're filming that tonight, tomorrow night, depending on when this goes out. And it'll be our last. It's going to be the most competitive Battle Report we put out. It's going to be my Tyranid tournament list versus Connor's. Custodes, much more competitive than the last Custodes list he brought. So we're going to have that rematch one more time before the Codex comes out. So that's all we got for today. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for Tyranid stuff. We're really looking forward to it. And we'll see you next time here at Maelstrom Gaming Studios.